What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa D18 Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams. Happy Friday. Now, we've got another fantasy film from the early 80s to take a look at here today as we discuss The Dark Crystal, starring Stephen Garlick, Lisa Maxwell, Billy Whitelaw, Percy Edwards, Barry Dennen, Jerry Nelson, Steve Whitmire, and Brian Mule. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. As I said in the introduction, it's Friday. Happy Friday. We've got another fun fantasy film to take a look at today. And we're going to be taking a look at The Dark Crystal from the mind of Jim Henson. Now, 1,000 years ago, on the planet Thra, two new races appeared when a shard was shattered from the crystal of truth. The cruel Skeksis, who used continued corruption of the crystal in order to extend their lives, and the gentle mystics, who make their home in the Valley of Stones in order to await their destiny. As we open our movie, Ursu, the Master, who is the leader of the mystics, raises a young gelfling named Jen, whose clan was slaughtered by the Skeksis. As the great conjunction of Thra's three sons draws near, a dying Ursu instructs Jen to fulfill a prophecy to heal the crystal by retrieving the shard from Agra. If Jen fails to complete his quest before the three sons meet, the Skeksis will rule forever. As Ursu passes away, the ruler of the Skeksis, Skekso the Emperor, dies at the exact same moment, leaving the Skeksis throne vacant. Skeksil, the Chamberlain, and Skekung, the General, challenge each other in a trial by stone for succession, resulting in Skekung defeating Skeksil. Skeksil is then stripped of his robes and banished, while Skekung is proclaimed the new emperor. When the Skeksis learn of Jen's existence, they send their army of giant, crab-like Gartham with the cunning Skeksil following. Jen meets Agra and enters her Ori, which she uses to predict the heavens, and she explains the conjunction before having Jen select which shard is the correct shard. Before Agra can explain Jen's mission, the Gartham arrive and destroy the Ori, and Agra is taken as prisoner while Jen flees. Hearing the call of the crystal, the mystics leave their valley in order to return to the castle of the crystal. On his journey through a forest swamp, Jen meets Kira, another surviving gelfling. The two learn more about each other when they accidentally dream fast, sharing each other's memories. They stay for a night with the podlings who raised Kira, only for them and Kira's pet, Fezgig, to flee when the Gartham raid the village. They are nearly caught, but Skeksil intervenes, keeping the Gartham from pursuing them. Jen and Kira then discover a ruined Gelfling city with the ancient writing which describes the prophecy. The prophecy reads, "When single shines the triple sun, what was sundered and undone shall be whole, the two made one, by Gelfling hand, or else by none." They are interrupted by Skeksil, who reveals that the prophecy was the reason for the Gelfling genocide, while trying to trick them into coming with him to the castle. However, the Gelflings run off and they reach the castle on landstriders, intercepting the Gartham that attacked Kira's village. While trying to free the captured podlings, Kira, Jin, and Fezgig descend to the castle's dry moat, revealing that Kira has wings, and they use the catacombs to gain access. They are then intercepted by Skeksil, who attempts to drag them to the other Skeksis when they refuse him any further. Jin stabs Skeksil's hand with the shard in defiance, which leads to his mystic counterpart, Ursol the Chamberlain, to retrieve a similar wound on his hand. Skeksil, in a fit of rage, buries Jin in a cave-in and takes Kira. Now reinstated as a Chamberlain, Skeksil gives Kira to Skektek, the scientist. She is to be drained of her life force for the Skeksis to drink and regain their youth. Agra, who is imprisoned in the scientist's laboratory, tells Kira to call the captive animals for help. They break free in response and free Kira while causing Skektek to fall down the crystal shaft to his death. At that moment, Skektek's mystic counterpart, Urti, the alchemist, vanishes in a burst of flames. Agra frees herself soon after Kira leaves before Jen arrives. The three suns begin to align as the Gelflings reunite at the crystal chamber, and the Skeksis gather for the ritual that will grant them immortality. When they are discovered and the Gartham attack, Jen leaps onto the crystal but drops the shard. Kira takes it after Fezgig is thrown down the shaft by Skekking, but is saved by Agra shortly thereafter. Kira then throws the shard back to Jen and is fatally stabbed by Skekzok, the high priest. The heartbroken Jen plunges the shard into the dark crystal, fulfilling the prophecy. The Gartham then disintegrate, and the podling slaves regain their essence when the dark stone covering the castle crumbles away to reveal a crystalline structure. The Uru arrive and use the crystal to merge themselves and the Skeksis into the beings that they once were, the angelic Ursex. Unglam, the leader of the Urskeks, explains to Jen that they had mistakenly shattered the crystal 1,000 years ago, and doing so, split them into the two races, thus decimating Thra. Jen's courage and Kira's sacrifice have restored them. The Urskeks then revive Kira out of gratitude, and then they proceed to ascend to a higher level of existence, leaving the crystal of truth to Jen and Kira on the now rejuvenated Thra as our movie comes to its close. I think my girlfriend was dead on when talking to me about this the other day after I watched it. I see Jim Henson and I think The Muppet Show. I think Sesame Street. I think Fraggle Rock. These characters, partially because they came from an already established work, were nothing like those characters. So I'm going into this expecting to see maybe not exactly the same, but characters akin to Kermit, Fozzie, Bert, Ernie, Gobo, Wembley, maybe even Marjorie the Trash Heap or Sweetums or Big Bird, you know. And these characters, these puppets were creepy. Even Jen and Kira looked like China dolls to me. And I've never read the book that the movie is taken from, The Dark Crystal. Maybe that's what they're supposed to look like. But it threw me off because I'm looking at this. I'm seeing Jim Henson. I'm seeing directed by Frank Oz. I'm seeing that the Muppeteers are controlling and performing the puppets while other people are doing the voices. And I'm expecting something like that. And that's not what I got. And so I think it kind of turned me off to that aspect. The story was so to me. And maybe it's just because I couldn't get into it because I couldn't separate what I was thinking I was going to get and what I got. So, this, unfortunately, I did not enjoy this movie to the level that I thought I would, being a Jim Henson production. I know I saw this movie when I was young at the YMCA, but watching back, I didn't remember any of it. So there's no attachment for me to this movie from my youth because watching it back, none of it triggered any memories in my head. And it's a shame because if I had seen this when I was a kid, before I really knew who Jim Henson was and his legacy, and I had the recollection, the memories, because I watched this over and over again, then maybe it would have been different. But I just don't. I don't have that connection to it. Keeping that in mind, The Dark Crystal gets 1 out of 5 stars for me. I'm sorry. For those of you that love the movie, I apologize. It just did nothing for me. What do you guys think of The Dark Crystal? Let me know. If you're watching the premiere, leave your thoughts and comments over here. If you're watching on demand later in the day, leave your thoughts and comments down here. Let's have that conversation, that discussion, that debate, that interaction that I'm always asking you guys for in the comments below. And make sure you guys tune in at the top of the hour to the Jeff Meacham Network, as it'll be a very special on the road edition of Meach's Musings, as Jeff Meacham and his buddy Kalea head to the Nikki and Bree show in Arizona. And then following that at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, it'll be simply predicting, as we discuss and predict, AEW All In, the biggest show in professional wrestling history. 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, hosted by the Simple Man Noah Foster. I will be on the panel along with the bunch of misfits that tend to come into simply predicting as we have fun, joke around, and give our thoughts on AEW All In. And then tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, it'll be time for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And it's new release Saturday. We will be discussing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, featuring the voice talents of Micah Abbey, Shaman Brown Jr., Nicholas Cantu, Brady Noon, Maya Rudolph, John Cena, Seth Rogen, Giancarlo Esposito, Ice Cube, Jackie Chan, Paul Rudd, and Post Malone. And then later on in the evening, right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, and across the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media, it'll be time for the Saturday night shenanigans that are Open Mic Night. Myself, the Simple Man Noah Foster, the Heeb Man James Hebert, the West Coast Professor Jeff Meacham will all be in attendance as we discuss the week's topics in professional wrestling and pay tribute to Terry Funk. You don't want to miss out on any of that content right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, the Jeff Meacham Network, Simple Man's brand, and across the entirety of the Jeff Meacham Network multiverse of media. We've got new release Saturday tomorrow. We've got Meach's Musings. We've got Open Mic Night. We've got Simply Predicting, and so much more in store for you right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel and across the multiverse of media. You don't want to miss any of it, so make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure that notification bell is turned on so you don't miss out anytime a video drops right here on the Casa D18 Studios channel or anytime we go live, as is the case with Statboy Sports Bar, Open Mic Night, pay-per-view PLE watch-along coverage, etc. Share these videos with your family, friends, loved ones, coworkers, movie fanatics, cinephiles in your life, fans of Jim Henson, fans of fantasy movies, fans of Jerry Nelson or Steve Whitmire or Frank Oz. Anybody you can think of that would enjoy this content in this video, share it with them, as it's the only way we're going to keep my visibility up in YouTube's algorithms now that we are in fact a monetized channel right here on the platform. Thank you once again to everybody out there who joined me and tuned in today. It means so much more to me than you guys will ever know. I will see you guys next time.
And now, preview time. So let's take a look at what's coming your way.